This is a time for justice. Welcome to today's show. I needed to cover this article because it just sums up the society that we're living in now. How weak, how pathetic. This is obviously done by design, by our government, by the media, how they've weakened people, how technology has really turned people against each other. They've made people more vicious than they've ever been. And obviously this also helps with population control because men and women are no longer interacting physically in the same space with one another. They're not going out on dates as much. They're not meeting each other. They're not talking in the phone. And this just sums it up. A woman who's charging $480 an hour to help Gen Z and millennial workers overcome their fear of talking on the phone. That's the point that we've gotten to, where people can't even talk, which falls right into the 1984 narrative, right? While they're taking away free speech, or trying to, from people like me and you, other people out there don't even know how to communicate anymore because they're so busy with their heads buried in their phones or buried up their rear ends that they don't even know how to interact. So you see more and more people who are single, and I feel horrible for the women out there who are dealing with the men, the Gen Z men and millennials. Well, I guess it goes both ways. I feel bad for the guys too, but specifically the women, because I see a lot of these guys out there and they don't know. I mean, they're just sitting there on their phone and there's no work ethic. There's no desire to do anything. It's just boom, head in the phone. And then you get to a point where you try to talk to some of these people and they're big bullies online. That's the thing that I love about it. Like, you know that these are the people who are trolling online. They're telling you off. They're telling you that do something. You go up to them in person and you open your mouth. They pee their pants. I mean, I know most of these people who do it to me online. They'll pee their pants, and they won't even just pee their pants. They'll make fudge in their pants. So this woman actually charges $480 an hour, not to train people or do something, worthwhile. No, just to get over the fear of talking on the phone. And I found her YouTube channel, which is interesting. I'll play you a clip right now so you can see. And it's almost like she's talking to like kindergartners. And this just sums up the mindset. She's talking to millennials, adults, like they're 10, like they're 2, about how they could pick up the phone. And you can talk on the phone. And you could say words into the phone. And this sums up our society, how dumbed down they are. Listen to this and tell me this isn't hilarious.
Anyone can talk on the phone. Seriously. I could pick this up, dial a number right now, and you'd say something. But communicating on the phone, that's a skill. The telephone is a very powerful medium. With it, we can hear what someone is thinking and feeling. We can listen and respond in that moment. We can express understanding, share knowledge, and be of service. We can inspire conversation, explore ideas, and build relationships. The phone lady helps you communicate more effectively on the telephone. A vital skill in today's hectic business environment. From sales to customer service, and from corporate branding to finding employment, the phone is the most direct, efficient, and responsive way to reach, hear, and inspire your market. But only if you know how to use it. I'll provide you with a clear understanding of the psychology of phone communication, the language, rhythm, and tone that inspires conversation. So, who do you want to talk to? Let me show you how to pick this up and make it happen.
So, I mean, really, this is what we come to, where you just pick up the phone, you make a call, you make an order, you make a demand, you talk to a friend, you talk to a family member. It's a bada bing, bada boom. It's not even something you should think about. But people are literally walking up to their phones, apparently, or walking up to, they have their phone in their hand, but they're afraid when it rings. Oh my gosh, are persons on the other end? I don't know how to speak. I don't know how to talk to them. You think they've got Gen Z and these millennials wrapped around their finger, ready for this unhostile takeover is really what it is. You would think this New World Order takeover would be hostile, but it's not. It's an unhostile takeover because these people are so dumbed down, they can't even use a phone. They probably can't even use a flashlight. I mean, we know that for the most part, a lot of people can't even turn on a lamp anymore because they have the Alexa do it for them. Do you think we become a little bit too dependent on technology? Yeah, of course. People like me and you know. But the majority of people, they don't realize that the more and more they get into technology, the more and more they separate from the real world. And they live in an alternate reality almost, where they're in these video games and they're not playing Super Mario. They're not playing Madden. They're not playing Tecmo Bowl. They're playing video games where they're an avatar in the game. And they're literally having conversations with headsets on and pretending that they're Pokemon and all this stuff. And they're like, this is great. This is wonderful. And I don't mean I'm not making fun of people who play video games or even who might jump into that. But the problem with it is that this is what they've done. They've separated people from reality. They've weakened them, right? And this is how they're getting to the point of total control, is that everyone's distracted, living in fantasy land. And then when they look up and they see and hear stuff like I'm talking about, real problems, they turn right back to it because they're too weak to deal with it. They're too, I can't think about that stuff. I'm gonna go farm in my video game instead of learning how to farm in real life because that's too much work. I'm gonna farm in here and I'm gonna pretend that everything's okay and this is my reality. I'm in my little home, my little cubicle, and I'm stuck in here, my prison cell, and I'll continue on while the world goes to hell. And then when they come to my door, and they force me somewhere, then I'll start crying and saying I should have done something about it. But until then, I'll just continue on. So smartphones, according to the article, can do lots of things, but plenty of people with them make very few, if any, actual phone calls. That's left many younger workers lacking the confidence to speak effectively on the phone at work. Mary Jane Copps said she spotted the rise of phone phobia 16 years ago and set up a consulting agency called the Phone Lady to help companies improve their staff members' phone skills. Gen Z have never had skills given to them. In my generation, the phone was on the wall in everyone's house, and we were taught to answer it and make calls at a young age. Now we have several generations that were never taught anything about talking on the phone, and people have removed phones from their homes. Think about this when you talk about trades, right? Having a trade in life. And a lot of us don't have trades, right? I mean, you would think all right, somebody's a welder, somebody's a farmer, we all have trades inside the matrix, right? And I'm not saying I don't have trades. I do have trades. I'm sure some of you have trades, but you wouldn't identify and be like, well, I'm a welder. Maybe you weld as a hobby, but you work at a construction company, or you work at a marketing agency, or you work at Walmart, whatever it may be. People used to identify as their trade. So it'd be like, oh, there's the welder guy. Okay. And you would barter, right? Oh, can you weld this for me? Yeah. Can you go, you're going to give me some food since you're a farmer? Oh, okay. Right. Those are traits. You would need to be taught those traits. You wouldn't need to be taught how to answer a phone. Think about how dumbed down, you're learning how to weld. You're learning how to, think of all the things you could possibly learn, how to just even to be a doctor, learn how to be, so many things, right? Those are things you learn. They're literally telling you that generations haven't been taught. They haven't been taught, she says, about talking on the phone. What do you mean how to be taught? Here, you press these numbers and it calls the person. This number calls this person. This number calls that one. And then when you hear them on the other end, you talk. Yay! How hard is that? No, they need to be taught how to. They need to be taught how to overcome the fear of it. It's ringing. What do I do? What do I do? You answer it. You answer. You say, hello? Like if the person was in front of you, but I don't know what to do if the person was in front of me. What do I say? There's a beautiful woman in front of me. What do I say? Although I should say, if there's a beautiful woman in front of you, you can't say anything to her, right? Me too, right? It's harassment. So anyway, the point being is that this is how dumbed down society has become. There's phobias of the phone. Alison Papadakis, the director of clinical psychological studies at Johns Hopkins University, told Insider that phone phobia was more common in younger generations. Phone phobia, ladies and gentlemen. Gen Z and millennials have a lot less experience talking on the phone because texting and instant messaging have been the primary communication mode for their generation. Since they have a lot less experience talking on the phone, they have less comfort with it. That sets up people who are vulnerable to social anxiety to have anxiety in that situation. Well, obviously that was done by design with the way they've wanted to roll out technology and social media and texting and all that stuff. But human beings should not be afraid to interact with other human beings. And all talking on the phone it's actually, easier than talking to someone face to face, I guess, right? Because you don't even have to see the person. So just imagine if people were being taught how to overcome the fear of answering a phone where you could be talking to anybody and you could hang up at any time if you're uncomfortable, or you could tell somebody, I mean, you're protected with a phone. You don't really have to worry. Imagine if this phobia exists, what kind of phobia exists for humans to talk to one another? Gen Z and millennials to actually talk to other people without looking down at the ground or shaking or trembling or getting triggered or having anxiety or panic attacks just from talking to someone, let alone a guy talking to a girl, trying to get her phone number, a girl talking to a guy so that they can date or anything like that, because they don't want that, because they don't want anybody having children. So they don't have to worry about that. Now we're just worrying about, can men and women even have conversations? Can men and men have, can anyone just talk in person? And clearly the answer is no, right? Because we have people getting lessons on how to not have a fear of phone phobia. Never thought I'd live to see the day. And on top of that, this woman charges $480 an hour. $480. I mean, give me this job. Anyone else want to take this job? Sounds pretty good. What are the qualifications to be what is the technical job? Phone phobia advisor? I mean, do you need a degree for this? Here's my lesson on phone phobia if you got it out there. Look, you pick up the phone and you talk, right? You use words that come out of your mouth. You ask questions. If it's somebody you need answers from, you ask them the questions you need the answers for. If it's a relative, you say whatever you want to say. Hi, how are you? Okay? Right? If you're calling, you're calling Amazon for a return, tell them the order number and what you need to have returned. Okay? You got to call to pay a bill. You say, hi, I'd like to pay my bill. Okay? The phone doesn't have teeth. Now, I understand a fear of phone phobia from the radiation from it. So if that's the case, perfectly understandable. Might want to put tinfoil or something on your head to prevent your brain from getting a brain tumor. So from that standpoint, it's okay. But from the standpoint of you're afraid of a voice on the other end, well, that's a problem. And that's your lesson from me, one-on-one coaching for phone phobia. $480, please. I mean, give me a break, really. That's pretty much what she does, right? So she says there's one-on-one coaching for $365 for 30-minute webinars as part of a 7-part program. 7 parts. I just summed up what you could do in 7 seconds. Can you imagine sitting through like 7 hours of that? Oh my gosh. If so-and-so calls you, pick up, open your mouth, and begin to speak. Go, ready? Then go, hi, my name is, okay. If you start to feel panicked or scared there, take a Xanax or something and drug yourself because you don't know how to talk to people. Huh? Oh, man. It says many of Kopp's clients are in the financial sector or startups. Her first step is working out why someone's anxious about phone calls. A common fear is what if someone asks me a question and I don't know the answer? I often say for the next 3 days, I don't want you to text anyone and tell them to call their friends and family. If they're not even used to talking on the phone to their mother, then the process is so scary. So I can't say I'm going to make them call prospective clients as they would just fall apart. We start with their family or someone they know. So, I mean, we're not talking about calling a business and being like, hi, I'd like to call. I'm asking about statistics or data on this info. No. Struggling to call their mom. Mom? They don't, yeah, I'm downstairs, honey. I'm up, I'm in the kitchen. Mom, I'm scared. And hang up. I mean, improvising on a call can be scary, so her approach involves using role play. I'm sure this is some type of role play. If people aren't ready to answer the phone, I set up a time where I randomly call them throughout the day and have practice conversations. This isn't Babylon Bee here. This is Business Insider I'm reading from. You can't build a relationship by email because it's not back and forth and you're not hearing each other's tone of voice. Adding the phone calls in are crucial in order to express interest and enthusiasm. Yeah, I think she's right. So this is what we've gotten to in society. I mean, these are the types of things that come out of all, the Elders of Zion, the Communist Manifesto. I mean, the weakening and dumbing down of society. We've never seen it more prevalent. And if people just snapped out of it, if they get away from their technology, if they realize what they're trying to do, if they overcame all of these fears that they've created with stuff like this, even an article like this probably makes somebody out there more fearful who isn't used to using the phone, some kid out there. There's nothing to be afraid of. What you should fear is what's coming. What you should fear if you're not saved by Christ is what's coming. Because that's really the only thing to fear. But we can't get to that level right now of, what's going on because we have people afraid to even pick up a phone. So you wonder why we're in the predicament we're in and how humanity has gotten to this point. I don't know. Well, I do know. But it amazes me day in and day out when I see stuff like this. Things I've never heard of. Phone phobia. Anyone else out there got phone phobia? I've got world phobia at this point. I'm just afraid to see some of the species living in this world at this point. So, when I go out, I see some of these species. It's not human anymore, most of them. And some of them aren't even transhuman yet. But it's different species of human, ladies and gentlemen. And it's certainly the weakest species of human that's ever existed. Imagine these people back in the Roman days and biblical days, the Crusades, etc. Do you think they'd last 3 seconds? They'd be on the battlefield crying. They would be out there trying to defend their lives. They would just crawl into a ball and submit. It's that bad. I thank you guys for being here. Reminder, check out my other channel if you haven't. It's linked in the subscription below. God bless all of you and your families.